I'm back, video 5. My name is Mike from MikesCarpentryPlus, and this video is actually putting up some siding. I wanted to show you a few things first, what J-channel looks like. This is a J-channel. This is a trim that goes on the sides around windows if you don't have the J-channel built in the windows, which you should, but this one didn't, and they didn't put it on properly. They did it like this, which is not the right way to do it. Hold on a second. So I'll show you how to do it properly. On the top of the window, you want to put it like that, overhang it. As you can see the window up there, you want to overhang this, the width of this about 3/4 of an inch. On the bottom side, you want to cut about 3/4 of an inch in, bend that tab over. And so you put that on top, and you do that to the other side. And then you take your side piece and you put it like that. That way the water runs over, drips through there, and doesn't get near the window. Plus it looks finished like it didn't before. It looked like that before. So I've got the pretty much all the J molding up. And for the light, this is a trim piece. It's a two piece of plastic. You put this where your light's going to go, put the wires coming out. It's right next to the door over there. The wire comes out right here, and then just screw it down. You don't have to worry about this expanding or anything. You don't have to. You can do it solid. You can go straight through the plastic on this. Same with the J molding. Now with corner, when you put your corners on, you need to use the strips on the side. Where's a piece of siding? Here's a piece of old siding. What you want to do, see, since it doesn't expand or contract much this way, but the long ways it does, so you have to put your screw in so that it can move. You don't want to go through the plastic here. That way you won't allow it to move, and it'll buckle on you. So make sure whenever you put your siding up, it's tight up on the bottom, and then you go through one of these holes here. And when you get close to the corner, you want to make sure this corner piece is this end of this piece is all the way in against the corner molding, and then you put your screw 1/4 inch from the end like that, from an edge. That way it can move a little bit, but you don't want it coming out of that corner. So it only allows it to move that way 1/4 of an inch. So as you can see, I've got all the expanded foam is dry, and it didn't take very long. It's kind of warm out here. So I just took a board and scraped off the high parts so that when I put my siding up, it'll lay flat. The expanding foam won't bother it. As you can see, I also installed another board on the bottom there because that was missing. This looks like it used to be a porch, and they just filled it in, made a room out of it. But anyway, I'm going to start putting some siding up. Before I do that, I want to show you how to put your electrical box in. I've got a wire sticking out next to the door, so you can have outside electricity, and you put a GFI outlet in there, or at least protected. But this metal box here, see, it doesn't have any holes to put screws in. So I turn it over and drill a couple holes in it so I can screw it right to the OSB on the wall. And then I'll put that J molding I just showed you, I'll put it around it, and that's the cheapest way to do it. They also sell little boxes, just like the one I just showed you for the exterior light, but they wanted like $8 for it, and that's just, I guess you can call me tight or some, whatever you want to, but I'd rather spend 50 cents on J molding rather than buy another box. But I splurged and spent $7 on that light box there because it looks better, and it's worth $7 for that. But anyway, I'm going to drill a couple holes in this, and then I'll talk a little bit about how we start on that siding. There it is. I got my 4 holes in there, so it's ready to go up. Almost. If I can get these things out of there. You've got these little caps, little plastic caps. They used to be metal, but everything's plastic anymore. So plug the ends here of your outlet box, and then it'll be ready to install where that wire is. That wire coming out of the wall will go right through that hole in the middle, and you just screw it to the wall, put your J channel around it, you're ready for vinyl. So without any more to do, before I put my first piece up, I wanted to let you know that the starter strip on the bottom, that the vinyl clips up and it holds the bottom against the home. It's already there, and it's level. It was done right, and so I don't have to put new starter strip up. Now the one on the other side of the house, the guy put on upside down. Must have been a couple people working. This guy knew what he was doing. That guy didn't know what he was doing. So on the other, on that, as you're looking at the house on the right side, I'll have to take it off. I'll take all that siding off, and I'll put a new starter strip up and show you how to do that. But see how my truck here, I got my table, my little, I have boards on there that I screwed down, and that way I've got a little tabletop. And then I've got my truck over here. It's backed up right to it, so all I have to do is slide the pieces up to it. So anything you can do to save a little bit of effort moving stuff, a whole box of that's pretty heavy. So I'm just going to just need to take one piece out at a time. Oh, one more thing. Something most people probably don't worry about, and it probably doesn't matter much, but I try to do things as good as possible. So the first thing I do before I put my vinyl on is figure out where north is. And I checked with my compass earlier, and it's right at you. So over here is west or California. Most of the wind comes from the west or the northwest, so from this direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first 12-foot piece, and we're going to put it on that left side there as you're looking at it. And then when we get the right piece on, then it'll overlap, and the wind will tend to like not go underneath it or between the pieces of vinyl. So anyway, here we go. That worked good, didn't it? I'm gonna get a screw and my gun ready. Just get one screw started. You want to make sure you get this way up in there. Get another screw in. Not cooperating very well. Oh, there's my problem. Okay, now we're ready. Now it's very important on that first piece of vinyl you put on that starter strip. You want to make sure that it's up all the way and it's seated properly all the way down it. Very important. You don't want to have to start over. So make sure you get it on your starter strip properly, like it isn't on the other side. And you also want to make sure that you don't tighten these screws down all the way. You want to keep them to where that vinyl can move. A lot like this old vinyl that I just took off, they pounded roofing nails in and all of them are tight. And that's just terrible. I mean, that's unprofessional, because the slits are there for a reason. It's so that when it's warm out, that vinyl is going to expand. It needs to move, and when it gets colder, it contracts. So make sure that number one, you use screws, and number two, you don't tighten them down all the way. Let that piece of vinyl move. Okay, first piece of vinyl is set and it's in the starter strip fine. So you want to put screws about every 2 feet. No more than 2 feet. Just shoot for about 2 feet a piece or apart. Anyway, there we go. Okay, we've run into a problem already. That's concrete wall behind there, and my screws were too long. I'm going into that, trying to go into that concrete, but it's not going to. So I'm going to use a little shorter screws, and I'll have to use the shorter screws on the, you can see the concrete there is about 3 feet high. So anyway, here I go again. I have to start over. It didn't. Okay. All right, let's try that again. In the middle part of that, it wasn't in the starter strip very well, so I had to readjust it, got it pulled up in there. Like I said, it's real important to make sure that the bottom of that vinyl is up in that starter piece like it's supposed to. It's just the only thing you gotta pay attention to is that first strip. Make sure it's in right. The rest of it pops up real easy when it goes together. And now we've got the first 12-foot piece up. Now I'll show you how to do the next one. Since we're going to want it to join right there on that end, we're going to cut off, as you're looking at it, we're going to cut off the left side, or actually cut off the right side of this piece in front of me. I measured 47 inches, and that allows for a 2-inch overlap on the two pieces of vinyl. That's what you shoot for, is 2 inches, about like that. notice on this one, it's just cut off here, and this is going in that J channel, so you don't have to do anything here. But where the two pieces come together, see how this is cut out up on top here, and then it's also cut out on the bottom? That way it can move back side to side. Some of that old siding on there, that old asbestos stuff, it is terrible, man. It doesn't even want to take a screw. It's real brittle. So anyway, I got the first two pieces up, and the first piece was full length, 12 feet. Now what you want to do is you want to use this piece right here that's left over from that 4 foot piece, whatever, over there. That way you've got, remember what I told you about the ends? The cut off ends going into the corner molding. And we're going to offset this, and these are already cut out, ready to go for another piece. Now on this next one, we're going to have some trimming to do on that piece because it's got to go in that corner over there. See if you can see that. See that corner? It's got to fit that. So the whole piece is 99 inches long, and then 1 1/4 inches up, and 5 1/8 inch from the right. So you got to remember, whenever you got two pieces joining together, if you don't have those little cutback spots top and bottom, you got to cut them yourself. But it's a lot easier while you're putting it up to use the ones that are already there. So I'm going to leave the left side of this intact. So 99 inches. Come up 1 1/4 inches. And then we're going to come over 5 1/8. So mark your piece here and cut it. See how that looks? As you can see, once you get going, the vinyl will just stay there on its own, and it helps if you move it side to side a little bit. You have to make sure that it slides, and that'll tell you if it's in there all the way. So just move it kind of back and forth a little bit, and it slides real easy, and it's locked in, and you're good. You go to the next piece. You got to get this one screwed in though. Remember what I told you on the ends, that first screw off the end there, put it 1/4 inch from the right side of that groove. I like to put your screw right in here, right there. That way it won't pull out of that J molding or corner molding. So now that we've got the second row up, now we can go full sheet again. Okay. Fifty-two and a half. Boy, I hope that old asbestos siding crap isn't around the whole dang house. This is going to be a pain to screw in there. I'll get a new screw on there. Try a new screw, sharper. Anyway, I think you get the idea. You just keep going like that, and when you come to your window and other things, you just cut out the vinyl. Just measure it and cut it out. And remember to take your time and measure it right. It's better to be a little tight than too loose, because you can always trim a little more off. Good rule of thumb always was measure twice, cut once. But my back's killing me. I think I've about had it. I'll put up a few more pieces before it's over with, and I think you get the idea. So that's it for video 5. And 1 through 5 is uncut, unedited, and first take. So you get the good with the bad and the bad with the good. But anyway, I hope I helped you a little. And as always, if you have a cat or dog, please get them spayed in or neutered. And if you want to get one, please pick one up at the local animal shelter and rescue one. There's a puppy dog right there, needs rescued. But and if you keep your dog or dogs or cats in cages, please don't leave them in there over 4 or 5 hours, and they need to go to the bathroom just like the rest of us. So I actually lost a dog from that one time. I inherited him, and he had been in a cage so long since he was a puppy, and he was smart, so he held it in and ended up having intestinal failure, actual rupture, and it killed him. But anyway, I'm sorry to bring up that sad story, but just to let you know that it is important to let your dogs out often, and don't cage them up too long. Putting them out on a chain is much better. Anyway, have a good day, and I'm Mike from Mike's Carpentry Plus, and I'll see you in video 6. Bye.